Everyone knows at least one spoiled brat. Care to see one get taught a lesson by an army of speaking humanoid objects and animals? Then get ready for some nightmare fuel with L'Enfant et les sortilèges. Happy New Year! Thank you for joining us on Opera Avengers. I'm Alejandra Martinez, your guide to demystifying opera, an art form created by the people, for the people, and of the people. Today's podcast is brought to you by FreshBooks.com. Move your small business's accounting to the cloud with a free 30-day trial on www.gofreshbooks.com/opera. Additional support is brought by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/opera. Choose from over 180,000 titles to read on your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. As always, this podcast will include spoilers. In opera, there are so many nuances to absorb that knowing the story beforehand allows you to sit back and enjoy the performance without worrying about missing a subtitle or two. So think of our podcast as your cheat sheet and be free to enjoy every minute of high-flying opera. Today, we're going to review L'Enfant et les sortilèges, Fantasy lyrique en deux parties, or The Child and the Spells, a lyric fantasy in two parts. You can probably guess from the title that it's a French opera. Composed by Maurice Ravel and first performed in 1925, this fantasy ballet tells the story of a naughty child who throws a petulant tantrum, then falls into a nightmare where all the objects and animals he mistreated adopt human characteristics and the power of speech. Our story begins in a humble country home in Normandy. An unnamed child, aged 6 or 7, fidgets in front of his homework, impatient to make some mischief. When his mother stops by to ask about his dull lessons, he replies by sticking out his tongue. She scolds her son and punishes him by leaving him nothing but bland, sugarless tea and bone-dry bread. After she leaves, the child loses control and erupts into a violent tantrum, destroying everything. He smashes cups, pokes at the squirrel in its cage, pulls the cat's tail, stirs the fire through the grate, knocks over the kettle, slashes the wallpaper, swings on the clock's pendulum, and rips the pages out of his books. Then collapses in an armchair, exhausted, having celebrated his freedom and his naughtiness. Suddenly, the armchair stirs to life, throwing the boy off and beginning to dance. It's joined by the bench, couch, and wicker chair, which refuse to provide the boy a seat any longer. The teapot and china cup begin arguing in broken English and Chinese and teasing the boy. Flames roar from the hearth, threatening to burn the child. As night falls, the torn wallpaper evicts the drawn-on shepherds who bemoan the destruction of their peaceful pattern. A lovely fairy tale princess emerges from her shredded storybook. This strikes a chord with the child, who recognizes her as his first love. The princess mourns the destruction of her story, which no longer has an ending. She and the prince will never meet. The child tries to hold on to her, but she sinks through the floor, disappearing forever. He grows sad that he could not save her. Then, the arithmetic book morphs into a little old man, accompanied by a chorus of numbers, who bombard the child with mind-boggling math problems. The kid tries to pet the cat, but it spits at him. After all, the animal is far more interested in the female feline in the garden. Together, the cats sing an infamous, outrageous duet, scandalous for its incredibly sexual overtones. Before we move on to Act 2, allow me to interrupt. Do you need to send invoices? Chart your expenses? You can save it all to the cloud with FreshBooks. To try FreshBooks free for 30 days, just go to www.gofreshbooks.com/opera. Are you a bookworm? Audible.com is offering a free audiobook download, in addition to a free 30-day trial to test out their library of 180,000 books, including Lean In by Sheryl Sandberg. To download your free audiobook, go to www.audibletrial.com/opera. Again, that's audibletrial.com/opera for your free audiobook. Upon entering Act 2, the walls of the boy's room fall away, transporting him to a moonlit garden, and is delighted to hear the song of owls, frogs, insects, and nightingales. The child leans against a tree. The tree is annoyed that his bark has been marred by the boy's knife. A dragonfly dances with the moths and the frogs, singing a duet with the nightingale. The dragonfly is heartbroken, pining for his mate, who the child killed by pinning to a wall. The squirrel chimes in, complaining of being poked and prodded in its cage. She warns the other animals of the boy. As the frogs dance and the cats meow to each other, the child is left, forgotten on the outskirts, recognizing the love and happiness among the animals. Sad and lonely, he cries for his mother. Mama! The creatures turn on the boy, scolding him and goading themselves into a frenzy until they pounce to attack. In the chaos, they get in each other's way, and a baby squirrel falls, hurting his paw. The fight grinds to a halt. In a moment of surprising tenderness, the child bandages the squirrel's paw before collapsing himself with exhaustion. It is then the animals recognize the boy's own injuries. He is just a hurt child who wants his mother. The creatures have a change of heart and decide to help him, following his lead by softly calling, "Mama, Mama," as they lead back home. A light appears in a distant window. The child sings joyfully, "Mama," reaching out to greet his mother at last. And so the nightmare ends. L'enfant et les sortilèges paved the way for even more disturbing quote-unquote child operas, such as Oliver Knusson's Where the Wild Things Are, and Benjamin Britten's Turn of the Screw. The writer of the libretto, her pen name Colette, described L'Enfant this way: if a child could tell you about his childhood as he is passing through it, his account would perhaps be nothing more than one of intimate dramas and disappointments. L'Enfant et les sortilèges is unconventional, but also poignant in the way it symbolizes guilt and forces its bratty main character to learn responsibility and humility. Until next month, I'm Alejandra Martinez. Thank you for listening. Opera Avengers is a production of the Great Lakes Light Opera, an organization based out of Cleveland, Ohio, dedicated to bringing opera and all local musical arts to everyone. Want to learn more? Visit us at greatlakeslightopera.com. Want to help out? Check our donation page or email us at megan@greatlakeslightopera.com. Oh, and let us know what you'd like to hear next.